Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're looking at episode 16 of If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Program. This is, I actually don't know, but I do know right before we get into it, there's a small little, very small video of Kitten gasping. I'm going to take a wild guess. This is going to be Kitten gasping for breath after that massive Emperor-inspired storm of rage. Also, apparently he was dating one of the Tau commanders. I'm like, I hope that comes back up. I really hope that comes back up. Because that's just... Seeing Kitten pull an Emperor with the sheer levels of rage was hilarious. I hope they do more with that. So let's just get right into this. This is just a really good show. You guys probably know that by now. But hey, guess what? There's a link down below. Hit it up. Thanks. Let's get started. Did they just do multiple takes and edit it in? Is he coughing up a hairball? I think he is. What the hell is he doing? Also, first time we've seen Kitten's feet. He got stuck. He just...
I'm fucking Link from The Legend of Zelda now. Fucking hell.
Crying noises.
Okay, I wasn't expecting Kitten gasping to go into a Link joke, but that was beautiful. I need to show Pretty Guardian that later because she's a massive Zelda fan, and that might actually get her into this. I doubt it because she's really not into 40k, but if anything could, this would be it. Oh god, I just realized I'm including myself as a fanboy for 40k now. It begins. That is a lot of books. Is that the...
Interested?
Not really. I'm just making sure you're not trying to invite your army of demonic tentacle monsters over for a party.
I thought it was more Slash.
He
He did!
Can we please have a little bit of trust at this point? I mean, of all the places in this expansive galaxy, this isn't the most comfortable location for me to be in. Besides, I'm not Fulgrim.
So you're telling me that succulent food, a luxurious atmosphere, and an actual bed are less comfortable than the realm that is literally a collective seizure?
If you had more mental capacity than a box of Grox manure, maybe you too would appreciate its own unique majesty.
This assumes that I'm insane enough to want to. Nevertheless, you just
Kitten is
being
best
here
kitten.
is a sign of trust in my lord, is it not?
Perhaps. Crazy. Damn.
Yeah, it kinda is. Why is he doing it with that?
Why are you still here?
Diggery, I think it's called.
Okay, tell me, what are you actually doing? Don't mistake my question for curiosity, I'm mostly just concerned.
Research, observation, experimentation, calming my nerves, listening to the whispers of the warp, passing the time of day, and so on.
He's bored!
Albeit it's pretty damn hard to get a good focus in this place, with father around, finding any warp traffic to spy on, which isn't tinted gold and full of pent-up frustration, is like trying to remove a demonic incursion from your rectum.
Oh god!
My heresy detector in my chambers, but I hear it going on from here.
Ow! Ow! Stop that!
Stop what?
Stop dazzling me with your ignorance! Your shiny, half-baked head is burning through my retina like an acid made of stupid... Seriously, though, have you still not got that this heresy expression you speak of
Yep.
is just your Imperium's excuse to put a giant bolt into the head of anyone who goes against you? The Imperium is like a child in a my dad is better than your dad argument that received the right to kill anyone that attempts to argue back, you witness
Oh god, that's actually accurate.
Everything so, I don't know, diabolical, creepy, and straight up evil. Maybe you wouldn't be such easy targets for both propaganda and a bolt shell to the forehead. I mean, you're not doing yourselves any favors by wearing the skin of your enemies, for example.
For your information, I have never worn the skin of my enemies. Do I look like a Necron Flayer to you?
To be fair, the Necrons and your Thousand Sons do have pretty similar motives nowadays.
Yes, we've already sent the cease and desist order. We're just being ferocious plasteel dicks about it.
Oh god, they actually did it! They're actually sending a cease and desist letter! And you made a Necron laugh, it's so stupid. Did he just kill the Necron by making him laugh? His eyes recovered.
Regardless, you still look like you woke up on the wrong side of the Eye of Terror.
I do see where you're coming from. All the decapitated heads and giant spikes do make it look like we're compensating for one thing or another. Like lack of decent parents. But to be fair, given your parents'
accurate.
alarming obsession with skulls, I'd say you have some issues of your own. Nevertheless, did you only come here to watch over my shoulder, or
And the
did you
famous
have some
people
other
are the
reason?
strippers, yeah.
Well, I actually wanted to ask you something.
Well, go ahead. I'd break the monotony.
I've been wondering. I've served my emperor for somewhere around 11,000 years.
Damn, Kitten's
I
old.
don't really keep track. And even though he's my, our father,
How does that work out?
I don't actually know all that much about him besides from what I've seen with my own eyes.
Isn't that enough?
Of course it is. After fighting this side and hearing his dreams for humanity, no sane man could not appreciate his majesty, wisdom, and might.
Indirectly calling me insane now.
He is the
Yeah,
one
Kitten
only
was.
worthy leader of mankind. But where did he
I'm
come
not even
from?
sure he was
Did he
part
have
of it.
parents, or did he just, I don't know,
Oh.
crawl out of a gold deposit? Not that's a bad thing, of course. I'm sure it was the most glorious deposit in the world. And
Oh, hungering for some crisp, luscious knowledge, are we?
Oh my
How
god.
fascinating. I thought you companions were specially trained to act as completely uninteresting impersonal automatons.
well,
The Emperor probably broke him.
truth be told, I think as time has gone by, most of us have either gone a bit into the cuckoo's nest or have managed
Only
to
a
retain
bit?
some, form of rationality. Actually, under one exception, everyone has completely lost their mind.
Hey, Kitten, want to go take a swim in the Promethean pools with us?
No.
Hey, be there!
As I was saying, I'd still follow the Emperor right into the Eye of Terror if he commanded it.
The others would
I
just do
live
it
for
naked.
him. I follow his every word and I never defy him. And I would happily give my life for him. But, well, there's the thing. I'd happily give my life for him.
Implying that you can actually be happy. Which also implies the fact that you have thoughts and feelings of your own.
And that the
which
Emperor
subsequently
sucks understanding
implies
people,
you aren't
yeah.
an incredibly stale person whose personal interest can be summed in the words standing around.
I guess that's part of the reason why I was elected to the position of Captain General.
And everyone else was too busy stripping. Gonna keep
Go
saying with that one.
Trying to creep in. I'm the one and only companion who's not batshit insane.
And I suppose that's also part of the reason why you're still wearing your armor after all this time.
Yeah. Or, well,
What?
not all this time.
What?
Oh?
I went through a phase. Can't say I'm particularly proud of it. Those loincloths really don't leave much to the imagination, you know. Why they
Ooh.
Anyway, as
He
you
just
were
freaked out
asking-
Magnus.
Ah, yes. The subject. Okay, I know he's been around pretty much as long
Oh,
as man
God.
has, that he has
I want that to come up
gracefully
later.
guided us through all of that, but did he make humanity in his image, or is he simply the guardian of our species? And if he made us, what made him? And if he didn't make us, what made us?
Ah, the oldest question in human history. What
42.
are our origins? Sadly, I'm of little help to you in that field. Been too busy comprehending the Materium and superhero comics.
Really? Didn't the Emperor tell you himself? And if he didn't, don't you have some old arcade book about it or something?
Actually, he never told me much about his own past or humanity's origins. Perhaps he didn't want us to know, since he's always been so exasperatingly introvert about things like teaching. That, or it's because I never really asked. May have been the latter, all things considered. And
Probably
no,
both.
I don't have
Probably
an old
both.
book lying about that specifically tells us where we all came from. Only my neurotic brother Lorgar would have the talent to write a fictive suicide of that caliber. Besides, even if I had a book like that, all the exciting demon tomes with screaming faces and beware signs lying about would probably just make it look severely unappealing in comparison.
Gah, I suspected as much. And I've
Such
looked
an
through
edgy
all the tomes
god.
and slates in the palace's libraries, all the data storage and archives of ancient texts and journals. I've even looked through albums of travel photos of
Oh, he had
Terra's
10,000
saint,
years to
but
do
I
it.
couldn't find anything about the time before the Emperor conquered Terra.
Probably because they
Age of
deleted it
Storm.
all.
If you are that curious, why not just ask Father himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won't survive.
Multiple reasons. His mind is so splintered that remembering such ancient knowledge might make him fling his skull across the room like a bowling ball.
What?
That and I'm much unsure.
Why
if
was
he
the little-
actually want to tell me.
Why
I mean,
was
if
that-
He never told you. Why would he tell me?
Well, he does seem to like you, despite him being grumpiness incarnate.
Yes, he is.
relies on you
Why was
to
that thing
listen to
just?
his
Why was the
boundless
Centurion
complaints and
just?
to inform him
What?
about, to quote, stupid shit? I'd even say he trusts you. He certainly trusts you more than he trusts me or any of his other sons for that matter. Actually,
Well-
are you sure you're not his wife or something?
No, of course not. But wait, really? You think so?
Indeed, stepmother.
First of
Oh
all,
God, Kitten
second
is.
of all, I think you might be right.
Not really wrong.
So I might just go.
Oh
and
no!
ask you
Oh
then.
no! This is revenge.
that.
This is revenge for something.
Actually, don't you want to come too?
Nah, I'm gonna practice for that talent show that I heard is coming up next Thursday. You say they're batshit insane, but your fellow companions do seem to know how to have a good time.
Further proof.
Unless you want soggy hair and stained armor for a week, I would highly recommend you drop that.
Why should I... Oh.
Did they just... I did... Oh! That kind of talent show! Oh god, they're insane! Oh, they literally said they're insane. It was just... Oh god! Just the dawning moment of realization on his face. And that he was literally just practicing for a talent show with a diggery.
This wasn't such a good idea.
So let me get
God.
this straight. You mean to say that you really have no records of human history before the age of strife accessible within the Imperial Palace?
No, not really.
Yep.
Most of it is so heavily censored by the Ecclesiarchy and the Inquisition.
In other words, they
that
deleted it.
resembles a barcode that does anything else.
So you have no recollection of the tales of the Old Ones, my own conception, the rebellion of the Men of Iron, or any other tidbits of humanity actually kicking ass?
What is Skull Servers?
Incredible. I honestly thought I'd hit the greasy fucking bottom of this shithole
Oh,
when you
God.
told me of the Inquisition's
realize
activities,
he's the only one
but
who's
I'm just now
animated still.
realizing that I'm only scratching the surface of this frozen ocean of ineptitude. It's almost as if nobody wants to hear about how our people weren't the be-all and all of civilization in this cesspit of a galaxy.
Yeah, odd thing that.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
Oh, he's even saying
This
the
is
exact same
something
thing.
that I shall now unfuck post-haste. Magnus, fetch some parchment and do what you do best. Take notes.
Do not worry, I always have paper.
He already
What
has
a fucking nerd you are. Anyway, I want you to write down everything I am about to tell you, and when I'm done, rewrite the whole damn thing as a grand historical document. Then I want you to start covering it in holy seals and shit, and then throw it into a pile of dirt for a while, so it gets that shitty old paper look. That'll make stupid people think it's inherently trustworthy.
He's not
Oh,
wrong.
and shiny britches.
Yes, my lord?
When Magnus finishes his chicken scratchings, I then want you to take this document to the scribes, have it proofed to make sure he doesn't sneak in any mimetic chaos bullshit, then have it mass-produced and distributed all across the galaxy to
This is
all
gonna
people
set
of
off
authority. I don't care
the
if you
Inquisition even
literally
more.
need to ram it
The
down their
Inquisitors.
fucking throats. Just make sure they read that shit and understand
Oh,
it.
God,
No
this is
spam
just-
box filter shall stop my
If telling them
glorious
to cease
wisdom
and
this
desist
time.
was bad.
Yes, my lord.
Now,
I know that's not what he
gather
actually
round,
said, but it's close
children,
enough.
for it is grand story time.
Oh no.
Cue visuals.
He actually has visuals. Oh,
In the beginning,
this is
there
different.
was nothing. The nothingest nothing that has ever not
Can't say
existed.
shit, not damn thing.
The nothing just kinda sat about and unexisted, not bothered by any such thing as existence or reality.
So
There
it's
may
Congress.
have been some bits of heat energy floating about, but that shit doesn't count. Eventually, however, this frigid, lonely expanse of plot hole level nothing got sick of being nothing and decided to get a job. So all the energy bits sucked themselves into a ball smaller than the level of progress made since I was put on this over-glorified Porto Potty lighthouse. Then, the energy exploded with the force of something that you'd compare giant fucking explosions to.
Big bang.
There has never been, and never will be, an explosion as big as this one.
Technically, it's
it
still
was
happening.
so big that it's literally still happening
they're even
right
saying
now.
it.
Wait, what caused the heat to compress and explode like that?
I don't fucking know. Dark matter, plane walkers, precursors, a bunch of geeks with nothing better to do making a badass fictional universe for the purpose of inevitably selling inordinately expensive plastic miniatures? It could have been anything. So after the mega-splosion,
Oh,
atoms
man.
started to take form from the massive amounts of energy
They're doing
that
little
floated
popsicle
around,
sticks.
and these atoms started recombining, collapsing, and forming themselves into elements, molecules, and
Yep.
compounds. These substances, unlike energy, had mass and decided
I just
to
realized
get
this now
closer
is an
to each
actual
other
justifiable way
because
to learn
now this new
about
thing
physics.
called gravity applied to them because that's just what fucking happened. Fuck this boring comic shit. Let's get to the good stuff.
He's not wrong.
As matter formed into big lumps, these lumps became celestial formations.
Still accurate.
Stars, planets, nebulas, asteroids, comets. Eventually, due to conservation
it's a
of
little moving
energy
image down there.
and some weird chemical reactions, life eventually formed on these
Life.
lumps of space crap.
This is special.
Supposedly, the first life that came about was a race of beings that became known as the Old Ones. The reason for this
Yeah,
nickname
that's-
is that they
yeah.
were the ultimate rulers of reality and evolution. And they were really fucking old, go figure.
Only watches
These beings
TV
are
all
the
day.
shitty, neglectful grandparents of all that is life. They evolved so damn hard that they eventually became spiritual entities, discovering the so-called realm of souls. As a side note, as you can see, they looked something like big, fat amphibians before they evolved into beings of pure power. So that's a lot of progress for a bunch of giant hyper-intelligent toadmen. Come to think of it, that sounds a lot like the administratum.
Incomprehensibly powerful for almost no reason.
Toadman, you rose in a typewriter with a fucking mouth. Anyway,
What?
they then decided to create other species for shits and giggles.
Oh.
Some said that they created all life after themselves, but I'm not so sure on that one. Perhaps they
It's a
helped
little
push
lazy.
the boat out, but they certainly didn't fucking build it.
So these old ones didn't create humanity.
That's what I just said, you hollow-headed ninny. Most life evolved in one way or another, and anyone who doesn't accept that is probably really drunk.
Lorgar's going to have fun with this.
Continuing on.
Chaos
Next
laughter.
to arrive
He's
were
not
a
wrong
bunch of
either. It's gonna be
floozy
fun to
fucking
watch.
milksops that you would recognize as the Eldar. Due to the fact that, early in their evolution,
Elves!
they reproduced like space rabbits, they actually ended up becoming the dominant race in the galaxy. The Oldones were more like spread-out singularities of imbalanced min-max hanging around here and there. But neither race really cared for each other, so they coexisted peacefully, one
Oh.
spreading like a pointy-eared plague, while the other pooped out orangutans, more frogmen, and races with unpronounceable names.
What?
But then came the Necrontyr.
Wait. That sounds familiar.
Strap yourselves to something, because
It's weird
here
having
comes the
lipstick
most
on a
obvious
Necron.
plot twist of the fucking century. The Necrontyr were salty assholes because they had evolved on a shitty, radiation-blasted planet.
Yeah.
They built underground cities that seriously looked like depressing tombs because their life sucked so much that they would rather wait out their own death than do much else. After years
Damn.
of being subservient to their animosity, like an entire race of entitled middle-aged people, they became envious of both the Oldones' incredible powers and the Eldar's massive galaxy-spanning girth. Of course, they were little more than an irritating bunch of self-pitying
Kinda looks like,
tearjerkers to such powerful
Venge
races.
from Star Wars.
Eventually, however, the spite of the Necrontyr became so mighty that they started hating all life in the galaxy, even themselves, and decided to start murdering literally everything. However, they soon realized that manually making sure every single grass straw on a planet was dead was really fucking tedious, so they started snooping around for something to make into a super weapon. That
Oh.
led to them finding a weird bunch of gas orbiting the super radioactive star that had turned their planet into the empire of atomic bombia. They suddenly noticed that the gas was feeding on the very energy of the star. It turned out that the gas was alive, but not in the same sense as other life
Oh,
forms.
geez, these
It had
things.
evolved in a whole different way, and was
Sentient
technically
gases,
even
right.
older than the old ones. Of course, all it actually did was eat radiation and, be what is basically celestial fart gas. But of
Also
course,
implying
these assy
there would've been more
Necrondars
without it.
just had to fuck with this peaceful, sun-eating anomaly. They proceeded to collect as many of these weird sentient gas clouds as they could find and forge bodies of living metal for them,
jeez.
because what isn't that the first idea that comes to your mind as well? They used
not
the
wrong, it
gases'
actually would be
own
my first idea.
radiation-eating abilities to lure the dormant consciousnesses of them into the bodies they had made via the use of a bridge of starlight, or some pretentious shit like that. So after eons of peacefully orbiting stars and eating radiation, these beings, which knew no other need than to drift around and consume, were suddenly given incredibly powerful physical forms and hypercomputerized synthetic brains to give them all the knowledge the Necrotry hearts had collectively
Yeah, that doesn't sound like
acquired.
it'll go bad.
As you can guess, this went swimmingly for everyone involved.
Wait. I think I can guess who these guys are now.
Congratulations.
These gas
He's gonna get it wrong, isn't he?
They became the
Oh,
Catan,
no, he got it right.
and the Necrons here became the Necrons.
Give this man a PhD because that's some serious brain power for a giant armored potato chip. But yes, these beings, in their fancy
Oh,
new
God.
bodies, with their big new brains, were named the Cat-10 by the
Oh, that's how you
Necrontyr
pronounce it?
and were worshipped as
I was
gods.
saying C10.
The Cat-10 weren't nice though. They absorbed all the living metal the Necrontyr had amassed, and used it to transform this massive species of psychopaths into a race of living, murderous machines who mindlessly served them.
So no
They
difference.
also ate most of the Necrontyr's souls while they were at it, because they were ungrateful assholes like that.
Yeah.
That's also when these mounds of fluid dickery discovered that souls were far more appealing than space radiation. I guess souls have more nutrition or something. So the Catan started looking back through the
So they were
extensive
eating
memories of the
parts
Necrontyr,
of the
now renamed
Immaterium, though.
Necrons for some reason, and saw that the old ones had the biggest, tastiest souls of them all, and decided that it would be a good idea to eat them. When the Catan came gnawing at the old one's front door, the old ones of course decided to punch the shit out of them with their minds, like all grandparents do. But that's when they noticed that their psychic powers were useless against both them and the Necrons because they had no souls of their own. This started a massive galaxy-wide massacre of the old ones that went so far that they nearly became extinct. I guess
So
you
there's
could
survivors?
say that the old ones got their life towed away from them.
Seriously, though.
Oh, that's painful.
Well, I guess the Necrons got what they wanted in the end.
Not quite.
Oh.
See, some of the old ones survived, and they decided that the only way to stop this imminent galactic doom is to fuck up in an equally as awful manner
Oh,
as
no.
the Necrontyr. Thus, they
This I don't
created
actually
a
know.
new race, one which could fight the soulless Necrons for them. A race with strange reality-bending powers fueled by crowd mentality instead of souls. A
This
race
is-
that knew and desired only war and destruction. A race that could weaponize anything and
Really?
was
They're
almost impossible
orcs?
to kill. A race that became known then as the Krorks, or as we know them today, the Orcs, because shortening names is a thing.
What?
Greenskins?
There's a plot twist you didn't see coming. The Orcs
Ultimate
were actually
power,
important
orcs.
all along. So yeah, while the Krorks were fighting the Necrons, the Eldar were shitting their collective frilly panties.
Did they just have a
because
Dio
they
meme in
knew that
there?
They were next on the menu. So they decided to salvage as much of the old one's tech as they could and fuse it with their own. Believe it or not, the Webway was actually a creation of the old ones,
Oh.
but the Eldar nicked off with the designs, like the thieving bastards they are.
Yeah.
That said, by combining Webway technology
I love how they
and
use
the
the
power
Stargate
of the Realm
portal.
of Souls, they created a new type of material to combat the living metal of the Necrons called Wraithbone. The Wraith constructs were sent into battle alongside the Krorks to fight back the Necrons. Turns out
Elves
that while the Cat
on the
10
side of
were
orcs.
into psychic powers, it
That's
seemed
weird.
as they couldn't handle being Wraithbone.
From the moment I heard the name come up, I knew you'd say that.
Why aren't you the smartest kid on the fucking block?
Of course
Sadly.
I am.
No wonder you were bullied by your brothers.
Oh, God.
No, that's just uncalled
Dude.
for.
Anyway, just when things started to go down the drain for the Cat 10, things got even worse for them.
I
as
think
one
his,
particular
Texas speech is
asshole
breaking.
among them, known as the Deceived, good friends with the Eldar Laughing God, brought together the most edgy Cat 10 he could possibly find.
Oh, no.
Creatures with names that only the most lonely of people could come up with,
Bob?
such as the Nightbringer, the Void Dragon, and the Outsider. The Dessa ever then said to his fellow celestial gas canisters,
All the other Cat 10 are weak and being killed off. We should eat them before they die so their powers won't be wasted.
Thus, the Catan started infighting, and began to eat each other, while also being destroyed by the Krorks and the Eldar, because that is clearly what an intelligent life form would do.
Unfortunately
So
accurate.
much destruction was caused in this, the first Great War, that the Catan suddenly realized they were expending more energy than they were absorbing, and would run out of power if they kept this up. All according to plan, Shagorath said as he laughed away the night with the death lever.
Wait,
Killing all of your
Shagor?
allies in the middle of a giant war was
Oh,
apparently
yeah.
a bad idea. Who would have fucking thought?
I thought that was
Plus,
Sheogor at the
they
first.
simply decided to retreat back to the
wonder
Tomb
if they're
Worlds with
probably
their
related.
Necron armies to wait for the universe to become plump, juicy, and unprepared again.
It would seem that at some point during that time, the Necrons must have regained some consciousness and taken revenge against the Catan for screwing them over.
So I have been led to believe.
Although, to be honest, it kind of sounds like they deserved what happened to them. That's what you get for being a filthy Xeno, after all.
So with that giant clusterfuck out of the way, you'd think things would get better.
Oh,
But
no.
nope. This giant war had left the universe a complete fucking mess. The old ones were near extinct. The Eldar were still scared shitless, and worst of all, the Krorks, with no Necrons left to fight, turned on their creators since the old ones had forgotten to install a fucking off switch.
Oh, God.
Fortunately, they could be held at bay due to having no technology of their own. That said, something worse than Necrons was on the horizon. You see, all the souls who were eaten, and all those who died in the battles created a major imbalance in the realm of souls. This imbalance within the outer realm corrupted and twisted it with all the ill will, fears,
And we're
and
getting to
general lack
chaos,
of
aren't we?
common fucking decency that life now collectively experienced. Nightmarish spiritual entities started to emerge from the darkness of the realm, like a giant galactic panic attack. It was at this point that the first demons emerged, and the realm of souls was given a new name.
The warp! That all makes sense.
Yup, Not only did that war fuck up the universe, but it fucked up the outer realms of the universe too. Compared to that war, this 10,000-year-old conflict that started when fucking Horus decided to be a bad boy is barely a blip on the radar. Puts things into context, doesn't it?
Kind of is screwy that way.
Suddenly feel small, and I don't know how to feel about that.
You'll get
Small.
used to it. Besides, you're shorter than most of your brothers anyhow.
That's entirely my choice, and you know it.
Where were we, humanity, during all of this?
We were
Not
all
even born.
busy evolving from primates into tribal cavemen,
Oh.
picking
Oh,
our
so
noses
there's more
and
plasma and
fornicating
amoeboids.
in the ways that primitive beings do. But not for long. You see, warp storms caused by this huge war fucked the galaxy over. And additionally, demonic predators of the warp finished off most, if not all, of the remaining old ones. It's like some complete-ass wipe suddenly invaded an old folks' home, demolished all their belongings,
God.
and subjected all old people to summary executions.
God.
And then another completely unrelated group came along and did the exact same thing all over again. The Eldar, realizing their own incredible fragility, decided fuck it. Literally. And so they did. Constantly. So much so that they repopulated the galaxy again,
God.
became the dominant species once more, and
They're
ruined
just
their
adding
own
more
reproductive
people.
cycle to the point of near non-functionality. I mean, I know you'll lose it if you don't use it, but if you use it fucking constantly, it's going to get worn out and shrivel up. It's at this point that the idiot says what species emerged.
The what?
I am absolutely hilarious, even after all these millennia.
Oh,
And did you say what? I
So
get.
actual humans finally started coming forth out of the evolutionary
Actually,
fuckfest
not
at this
bad drawing.
point, and a handful of them gained psychic powers similar to that of other species carrying souls around. These early day psychers called themselves shamans, and they were
Has
totally
mushrooms
super
growing on them.
badass, guiding humanity by learning about the ways of nature and the universe's history through the power of the realm of souls and probably some shrooms.
Yeah,
However,
it's humans.
when the doddering demon douches accompanied with an entire gang of horribly unnecessary creatures like enslavers and psychnoia started to show up, the shamans started to be horribly killed off in spasmtastic manners. So of course, the shamans decided they needed to put their heads together to solve the problem. So they did. Again, literally. By combining their very souls,
Oh.
psychic powers, knowledge, and strength through ritualistic mass suicide. They achieved in the blink of an eye something that had taken the old ones an entire species worth of evolution to do. They all became a single living being of spiritual energy and power. In short, they created me.
Oh God, he's doing it again. Kitten gasping. And that was episode 16. Now, I gotta say, I'm a little surprised they did the actual chemical building of just atoms, and that's actually a very accurate representation of how things started, as currently theorized. So, you know, it's good enough, which is how theories work. I am going to admit, I'm kind of curious about the entire old ones dying, because, like, wow, the only images we have so far are those little toad frog things. Yes, they got what they totally deserved. The toad puns. I like puns. I'm not jealous that he did it before I could think of it. Still, though, just the entire thing is the Eldar's population is... Their power is just to reproduce. Oh, God. And now they have the exact opposite issue. And now we're the ones with that ability. Oh, God. Just everything about this episode was good. Although I will admit the entire intro with Magnus and freaking Kitten. What was that? Yeah, it was good. But the Centurion, it just popped his head in, watched around, walked back out. I mean, you haven't seen him for a while, even though he's been referenced. What is he doing exactly? I'm actually curious. Hope it comes up later. So, yeah, all the same, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. And there will be a next one because I'm really looking forward to this. And yeah, again, link below. You guys know the deal. Watch it. See you later. Adios. Thanks for watching, everyone. And for everyone who's supporting me on Patreon, thank you so very much. It does make it so much easier to get these videos out, along with a bunch of other new original series that I'm starting to work on. So again, to all the Patreons who are helping supporting this, thank you. And if you're interested in joining, there is a link on the screen. For everyone else, thanks for watching again. See you guys in the next one.